Welcome to the only figure of 8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is the Japanese Grand Prix. We're jumping straight into qualifying here. We had some pretty big upgrades go on the car in time for this race, but unfortunately the vast majority of those have actually failed, so that's going to set us back by quite a way. But yeah, we'll just have to deal with it. You can see there in the bottom left what we've missed out on. I think it was a major drag reduction upgrade, major rear downforce. We had an ERS optimization upgrade fail, and the final upgrade, which we actually did get on the car, was just a regular boost to engine performance, I believe. But so far you can see qualifying 1, you can see struggling with the conditions. We've got a dry race, so I've set the car up for dry conditions. We've gone for like a aggressive league racing style setup, so like 8 ballast. We've gone for slightly higher downforce, but we haven't really gone for rear stability like we probably might have if it was fully wet for the race. But yeah, we're just going to have to make do with what we've got for the moment, hopefully struggle through these sessions and get through to Q3. If I'm somewhere near the top 10, I think I'll be pretty happy with that. But yeah, really struggling to come to terms with the spoon curve. Every time I just got through the halfway point of that double apex, it was just not having it. Like, it's just the rear end was just absolutely nowhere. That was the second time we went through there, and that time was a massive drift. We actually managed to save that, thankfully, but it's still far from ideal in terms of lap time. You can see we're down in P10 at the moment. Not everyone has set a time yet, but hopefully we can just continue to find a little bit of pace. It actually will start to dry up as well as this Saturday qualifying unravels across the line for our first representative lap. It gets us P8 overall in qualifying 1. Still not the greatest lap. I actually went out again and did a set of intermediate running, so that really secured my position into the next session. But unfortunately, a few people got caught out. They didn't go out again on the inters. Valtteri Bottas out. Sebastian Vettel was out. Leclerc, Van Dorn, Carlos Sainz. A lot of decent drivers there caught out there by the conditions. We fast forward to Q2. That was actually a really good lap by myself there to get P4. We were some 4 cents away from Daniel Ricciardo, that Red Bull, bringing in some extra downforce upgrades. I'd say they seem to be absolutely ridiculous as of late, but they haven't really shown it all too much just yet. But qualifying 3, it's actually set to dry up at the end.
Complete. We're ready.
At the end of this session, as my engine starts up there. So yeah, we basically waited till the end of the session. There was no point, going out there on a set of intermediate tires when it's going to dry up anyway. So we're going to go out at the last possible second. I believe we'll be the last car to cross the line, so we'll have the best of the conditions, hopefully, to try and snag pole position here at the death. We'll have free choice of tyre for the race as well, so we won't have to worry about strategy all too much. It might be a one-stop for not only us, but a lot of other cars in the field as well. But yeah, just right now getting ready for the flying lap, heating up the tyres, making sure the brakes are pretty warm as well before we stomp on them before the run into turn 1. And away we go for our flying lap right at the death. We're the last car to cross the line, so we should theoretically have the best of the conditions here. Heading into turn 1, you're going to see just what this Sauber is made of. A couple of downshifts down to 5th gear, might go into 4th just to get the nose in there. Pretty nice apex speed. We are lacking a little bit of downforce versus some other cars. Mercedes, Ferrari, for example, and we're losing a lot in terms of downforce to Red Bull. So it's imperative that we gain a bit of time here. This is why I've gone for higher downforce, but otherwise, looks like it's been a pretty solid lap so far. No major mistakes. Hulkenberg the first to set a time on the dries in the 26s, which what I remember is actually pretty darn fast. I think in league racing we were doing like 27s last game, but this is season 2. There's been a lot of upgrades that's gone on the car so far. Pretty good lap. Nice run out of the hairpin. We ran in a little bit wide, but we managed to carry the momentum quite well there, which should look after us in this middle sector through to the spoon curve, which we were struggling with so much in the wet. In the dry, it's a non-issue. Car is pretty hooked up through there, and now we're going to hopefully gain a little bit more time back on this straight. It would have been really nice to see what we could have done this weekend with the drag reduction upgrade and the rear downforce. That would have made us ridiculous, but 2 tenths up to the middle sector split through the final chicane. There's a lot of time to be gained here. We clipped the bollard on the inside there. Really nice run on the exit there. A bit of wheel spin and lost the back end across the line. Is it pole position? I think it is. Just about. A 10.5 back to Raikkonen. So a clutch lap there in the end to snag us 5th pole position this season, I'm not too sure. Championship standings, there's a quick look there. Leclerc down the order, Hamilton down in P4, so there's potential for us to gain some points on him today, if we are lucky, which hopefully we are. It's time for the race now. Again, we're looking at the championship standings just to see if I can clinch that title in this episode, which I believe I can if Hamilton gets a retirement, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But it's time for the race for the Japanese Grand Prix.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012.
Alright guys, it is time for the Japanese Grand Prix. I just realized I made a mistake in my commentary earlier. I can't win the championship in this episode, but we can get pretty darn close. It's 100 points remaining, and if we win today, Hamilton gets nothing, then we'll be ahead by 96 points with, 4 races remaining. So we can pretty much all but secure the championship today if things go our way. I'm building up to this, but who knows? Hamilton could just as easily beat me today and bring the championship fight closer. But in terms of race strategy, we are going to play it pretty safe here with the tyre compounds. 5 red lights and away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix. We'll get back to this race strategy a little bit later, but you saw it on screen. Away we go. You can see not a great start there off the line. Ricciardo draws alongside, squeezes us wide at turn 1, and we're going to drop a whole bunch of places there. Actually, no, only one. Well, that was a bit dramatic, wasn't it? Sergio Perez gets up in a P3 somehow, so that is pretty interesting to see how he displaced both the Ferraris there. Wish I got a replay of that, but I did not. Such was the rush to get these episodes out before I left for the UK. But so far you can see not a great start to the Grand Prix. Ricciardo playing a little bit dirty there on the run into turn 1, so I'm not too happy with how he's conducted himself. It's going to be interesting to see what the race pace is like in this Grand Prix. I'm not convinced that we've seen the best of the AI so far. We got a little bit lucky with the golden run we got in qualifying, the best of the conditions. The race, though, might be more of a tussle between us and especially the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. Like I said, they've had some pretty big upgrades in the last couple of races that they've got themselves to the best car, or certainly right up there. We get a corner cutting warning there at the end of lap 2. Daniel Ricciardo again going fast. We beat him by a couple of tenths there to reel him in with a 1 minute 29.4. So the pace early doors looks pretty strong from both myself and Ricciardo. It looks like the rest of the field, though, can't really run with us, though we'll see what Hamilton can do in the following laps. But at the moment, we're setting a pretty scintillating pace, fast lap after fast lap, trying to chase down Daniel Ricciardo. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit pissed off after that first corner conduct. So we'll see if we can get some revenge in the following laps. But yeah, we're closing him in, surprisingly. Didn't think this would be possible given how fast on paper that Red Bull is, but we just about seem to be able to do it in the second and third sector. I don't know, it looks like we have less downforce on paper, but, you know, on track, we actually look pretty strong up against Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe the tyre wear is starting to come into it, and it's allowing me to catch up now 8 laps into this stint. We'll be stretching the tyres till about lap 14, 15, and then we could probably put on the super soft tyres to run to the end of this race, whereas I don't know what Ricciardo was going to do. To the outside, we're going for a move already. He shoved us off into the wall! Are you serious? Again, like, first corner, lap 1, shoves us off the track. The very next opportunity we get to go side by side with him, and he completely shoves us off into the grass here. He moves in the braking zone. And if I was none the wiser, I would have thought that was Max Verstappen, honestly. He did the exact same thing in real life. But we were drawing alongside in the braking zone, and then he just completely shoves us off the circuit there, which is pretty interesting. I've not really seen Codemasters AI do that before, but Ricciardo doing absolutely everything in his power to win this Grand Prix. We actually got a penalty for that as well, which is going to set us back in this race. So, yeah, pretty frustrating. We'll have to regroup a little bit. Tyres suffered a little bit with that, but hopefully we can let them cool out and we can have another go at him once again. So, yeah, massive obstacle we're going to have to overcome in this race. Not only are we going to have to beat him, we're going to have to beat him by over 3 seconds now to claim the victory. So we'll see what we can do. Looks like we do have the outright pace over him at the moment. As his stint wears on, it looks like he's really tough on those tyres. So we'll see if we can get past him. A bit of slipstream. No DRS on this back straight, which is pretty puzzling. You could definitely fit a DRS zone here to the inside, and we get the move done even before we get to 130R. So Daniel has no real leg to stand on there, and that is the lead of the Grand Prix once again.
My time.
I'm not really sure what Daniel Ricciardo just said there, but he sounds pretty pumped up. Looks like he's going for another move here on the start-finish straight. We put it up in a hot lap and rich fuel mixture. He really should have defended the inside there, but it looks like Daniel Ricciardo's going for another move. He squeezed us off for the third time. The third time in this Japanese Grand Prix. This guy is something else. He really, really wants this victory. You would think that this is how Lewis Hamilton should be behaving now that the championship is pretty much in the balance. I don't know what where this motivation from Daniel Ricciardo has come from. All of a sudden, we're going to dive him back up the inside in the spoon curve. We've run out a little bit wide, gave him a bit of a squeeze for his trouble, but to be honest, given what he's done to us, I think that is completely fair. And once again, we take the lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see if we can defend this position. This has turned into quite the fiery battle between the two Australians. Here he comes again on the outside on the right into turn 1. DRS is fully open. But this time, I think we got a nicer exit off the final corner, which has really looked after us on that start finish straight, and we managed to hold on just about, trying to break the slipstream, not allowing Daniel to get any closer than what he needs to be to make a move in this race. But I believe we're getting to the end of this first stint here. This is Daniel Ricciardo actually coming into the pits now to change tyres. The question is he going to go onto a set of mediums? He can't go the softs again because he started the race on that compound. It looks like he's going to the mediums. Wow. You'll find out in just a second why that is a huge blunder of strategy. We come in about 2 laps later, I believe, and we're going to be putting on the super soft tyre to run to the end of this race. If Daniel did maybe, like an extra 2 laps, he would have been able to do the same strategy as me. He's going to get the undercut, so we're going to have to re-overtake him in this race, which I'm absolutely dreading, by the way. But we're going to have 2 compound softer tyres on our car. We're going to be ridiculously fast, and Daniel is going to have nothing to fight with in the second half of this Japanese Grand Prix. What a blunder of strategy this has been from Red Bull. Let's make them pay if we can. We're going to blow past them on this straight here, maybe. If we can get DRS and overtake him, this could set us up perfectly to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So let's see if we can do this. Hot lap is engaged. Rich fuel mixture, DRS is open. We've caught him at pretty much the perfect time to get the move done. Ricciardo, yeah, we're just going to go clean around the outside, and he's got nothing to fight with before we even head into turn 1. So that is the move of the Grand Prix for us. That should be pretty much GG for us now, unless our tyres really degrade or fall off the cliff or there's a late safety car. But otherwise, I think we should be able to have the pace in hand to keep him at bay for the rest of this race. Teammate is in the pit, so that's an interesting strategy from Charles. I believe that's his 3rd stop of the Grand Prix, which is on paper looking like not a good day for him, but purple to this first sector split. We're absolutely nailing this lap so far. We got the absolute benefit of slipstream and DRS on the start finish straight. We got a pretty good run through the second and hopefully 3rd sector here through the final chicane. That's not a great apex to the first part, but otherwise this will be our fastest lap, and to be honest, will probably struggle to beat this lap from here on out. It's a 1 minute 28.7. It's hard to read. My preview window is so small. Maybe it's a 26.7. I hope it's a 26.7. That's not too far away from what we were managing in qualifying. But here we go. Pretty much at the end of the Grand Prix, just negotiating past some back markers now. Hamilton's still in P3, so it's been a pretty lonely old race for him after he got past Sergio Perez. So it's going to be another 15 odd points for him. Again, that's a pretty close call at the second Degner there. But otherwise, a pretty tense and exciting race. Daniel Ricciardo really put up a good fight, but the strategy has really let him down today. He really could have been in that fight if he would have gone onto the super soft tyres like we did in the second half of this race. But for us, I don't know what victory number this is going to be. It doesn't matter. Championship-wise, this is almost all but secured it now. Across the line for another victory at the Japanese Grand Prix.
Looks like they're on their way out to the podium now, and what a result this is, and what a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Sauber team on top here today.
Thank you very much, Crofty. Another pretty good win in the end there. Like I said, Daniel Ricciardo really gave us a good fight there. We got that 3-second time penalty, which obviously didn't count all too much, given that we were able to pull away so much in that second stint. So it really made life easy for us. Hamilton, ever consistent. Didn't get off to the greatest starts. He had to negotiate a little bit of traffic, so he wasn't really in the fight with us today. And we gained another 10 points on him. For some reason, I'm checking the race director. Yeah, okay. I'm just checking to see what the actual penalty was for. It was actually my third warning of going off track. It's not like it was a straight up 3-second time penalty for leaving the circuit on the straight. But to be honest, it's still a little bit of a weird penalty because you leave and come back on the circuit on a straight. You're not really gaining any advantage there, especially given that we got shoved off there in the first place. And in the end, it doesn't matter. We lead the championship by 81 points. Charles, not a great day for him. Looks like it doesn't really matter anyway. There's still a pretty secure position for him in the championship. Constructors-wise, we're looking pretty solid here, heading into the US Grand Prix. And I know for certain in the next episode we can win the championship for the drivers, and I believe also for the constructors as well. So hopefully we can have a good round there and tie things up in this career mode championship. It could well be the last episode of F1 2018 career mode I do on the channel. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, otherwise things looking pretty good heading into the next episode. We're going to do some more upgrades. We've got 1,200 resource points. We're going to consolidate the upgrades that failed at the start of this one. So the rear downforce upgrade and the ultimate drag reduction upgrade. I thought it was a major. It turns out it's an ultimate. So that'll be going on the car in time for the US Grand Prix. That'll put us in a pretty good position to win that race there. We'll have to wait and see. It could be another 1v1 between myself and Charles. That'll be a good way to round out the constructors. But yeah, you can see the gains made by the other teams. We're still firmly there at the top. Red Bull made some gains, and heading into this episode, Ferrari made some gains as well, which I forgot to touch upon. But otherwise, that is the end of this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's see plenty more F1 2018 content. Until the next race, the US Grand Prix. Could be the last episode of the series. We'll have to wait and see. Until then, it's goodbye.